Zhao is our newest unit in 2.5 and she's pretty strong. Her kit allows what, 1000 attack, 40% extra damage. She can even give herself crit rate. But what if I told you she has one of the most broken, most underutilized attacks in the entire game? Of course, I'm talking about the... If you didn't understand the sarcasm before, of course I was joking. This may be the worst attack in the entire game. It probably is the worst attack in the entire game. Mainly because it can't even be upgraded. It's not even tied to the dodge skill, at least not in my testing. I mean, if you look in the background, I can't even kill a level 10 Turfling who's the weakest enemy in the entire game. So I just sat there curious, like, I wonder if I could clear Hollow Zero like this. Is Xiao falling clearable? That's what I'm gonna try to do right now. So for some reason I was muted the entire time when I made this section, so I'm just gonna quickly go over it. I decided to build her with just as a crit rate DPS, just a regular crit DPS. She had 2100 attack, I think 85% crit rate in battle, and she had I think 170% crit damage. So she was honestly looking pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, she might be better than some of your DPSs out there. Anyways, just because her attack stats look high doesn't mean she actually was. She did maybe, I think, around 100 more damage than before when I had her built for the HP percent, which is pretty cool, you know. Just I'm not gonna lie, I don't think this shit's possible. So really quickly, I'm gonna go over the buffs. I had attack is increased by 10%. Whenever you're attacked, you gain a shield equal to 10%. Here are the buffs you get from the Hollow Zero. I had increased attack max HP, extra refreshes on Resnium, 48% crit damage, increase agent damage dealt by 30% when HP is below 50%, and items in the shop have a chance to get a discount or something like that. For the gear, I would either choose Combat Nutrient Pack or something like that, the Adversity one, and the first Dexterity one. They're both very good. Now finally, let's go on to the combat. Since I wasn't doing too much damage, I wanted to make it a little more fair, so I decided to go on difficulty 4, which only has level 50 enemies, and then it's a guaranteed bringer boss fight at the end. And upon going into this, I knew that this was going to be the worst fucking thing I've ever subjected myself to in my life. I just wasn't killing them. It doesn't help that they were also physical resistant, but these guys just ran around so much to the point where it was actually just straight up impossible to hit them. So at a certain point, I just said, fuck it, I need another plan. I can't just raw dog this shit. I need to do something about this, because this damage is too abysmal. I then tried adding Banyue into my build, because Banyue by himself can parry attacks. So I thought to myself, maybe I can switch to Banyue, do some days, and then switch back to Zhao for like a stun window. And I thought, well, this is pretty genius. Until I figured out that whenever you switch to Xiao, she automatically, no matter what, will start attacking the enemy, even if you don't want her to. So this plan quickly came apart. Then I kind of reached to a point where I was like, I have no idea what to do. I tried to go to a really low level to see, like, maybe if I played at a really low level, I can deal just a good amount of damage. But the issue was that the enemies just kind of didn't do anything to me. Like, I could just stand there, do nothing, and they could literally never kill me. I had way too much HP and defense. So I was pretty much done. The challenge felt pretty impossible, and I was close to giving up. Until... Now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Da 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 Totally, 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 da. Totally, 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 da. Totally, 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 da. Motherfucking Ben Bigger's engine. Ben Bigger's engine. If you're unaware what Ben Bigger's engine does, whenever you take a hit, you deal 1000% of that damage back. Okay, not 1000, it's 970%, but 1000 sounds cooler, okay? And this makes this challenge actually doable. We found it a way to win. When I first tried this challenge, I was doing a bunch of different things. I tried difficulties 2 and 3. Although I was dealing fine damage, I was basically immortal. I just couldn't die. When I tried difficulty 6 or when I tried the higher difficulties, I was taking too much damage and I also couldn't really kill them. I found that difficulty 4 or 5 was kind of that sweet spot. I did difficulty 4, but difficulty 5 is definitely possible. So we started with an encounter and I got something a little interesting, something called double-sided armor, where I lose 20% max HP, but I get 10% max HP and 10% shield. I didn't know if this was permanent or a one-time thing, but I just decided to pick it up anyways because it sounded good. So I was hoping and praying that it was permanent, but I wasn't for sure. Then once again we have to verse those god-forsaken piss boos. I hate these things with a passion. They don't stop running away. They can't aim for shit. Well, mostly anyways. So when I finally get hit, I can do an attack, and then they miss 48,000 times again. Fuck the piss boos. Though it's pretty hard to fuck this up in a normal game, but in a challenge like this, they are so annoying. Like this enemy is actually my kryptonite. You have to be standing still for them to hit you. It's awful. Also, I'll put up a timer at the end of a battle to show you how long the interaction took me, because some of these take very, very long. So I thought it'd be cool to know, for you to know how long I actually spent sitting here doing a whole load of malarkey. Then I had quite a bit of gear coins, so I decided to go to a shop, and we had a lot of gear coins. First thing I picked up was the insect catalog. Enemies with less than 50% HP take 15% more damage. Then I took targeted antibodies. Attacking enemies with a larger HP pool grants 10% more damage. Then I picked up the advanced chassis, which gives me an extra dodge, very huge. And whenever I trigger a dodge, it increases my attack by 400. I picked up painkiller hormones whenever I lose HP, which is pretty often. I increase my damage by 10%. And then I picked up some trash dexterity thing just to increase my dexterity level by 1. Now is time for the Thrashian boss fight. Now, the Thrashian boss fight is one that I personally have a lot of experience with, so ignore me getting hit there twice. I have a lot of personal experience with, so it wasn't too bad for me. The only issues were these little ethereals. We finally get rid of all the mini ethereals, and now it's time for the Thrashian. Now, you may notice that the Thrashian has only like 25% HP left, and there's a good reason for this. Before the game even starts, you can get a Hollow Zero buff, where the first 2 to 3 combat encounters you face, the enemies will have 75% less HP. Throughout this Hollow Zero run, the only combat I had was the Coin Bang Boo combat. So that means I basically just got a free ticket to this guy being 75% HP, which wasn't on purpose actually, but I damn sure was going to take it because this boss already took me long enough, even with the 75% HP decrease. Now Thrashian's a bit of an interesting boss. He has a lot of AoE type moves and a lot of invulnerable states. I found that waiting for the AoE to finish and then getting hit by those was the least damage I could take. But his invulnerable states were the ones that you really had to watch out for. Whenever he went into those invulnerable states, you have to just dodge everything or get hit by like one little spear so I can proc the engine. He also has the invulnerable state where he slams down onto the ground and leaves a big electric pile on the ground. That one does a lot of damage, so I usually tried not to get hit by that. Eventually, he does fall. As for the Resinium we choose at the end, I decided with the emergency partition, because, you know, it's the only thing that I got after using a few refreshes. And we end up with a 7 minute and 10 second clear, which Sounds bad, but imagine if I had to clear that without the 75% less health. That would have been absolutely tragic. Probably a 20-minute clear. And honestly, I've been through worse with the level 10 run I did a while back. So honestly, not bad. We then go to a gear combat area, and this one was actually a little difficult, a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. These two just complement each other really well. The big guy likes to just do huge attacks, and the little dude just likes to punch you really fast, so it was pretty hard to get some hits in. Eventually I just got him stuck like on the wall. I can just get one stuck on the wall, and then I can start just pummeling the other. But at a certain point, I might have accidentally fat fingered and hit my A button, which caused a bang boo assist, which causes Xiao to immediately go into Ether Veil without me even like doing. I spammed dodge, I spammed everything to stop it, but there was nothing I could do. And if I'm being real, I'm not gonna restart the entire thing because this already took me like 8 minutes to do. I wasn't gonna redo that entire thing because I messed up once and I was already like near finished. So if you want to call a run invalid for that, then go ahead. Fucking, you do the fucking run then. So after absolutely bitching Ornstein and Smo, we finally get one of the best gear, if not the best gear in my opinion in the game, Adversity. Which basically, whenever you hit an enemy, you enter like a blood state. Whenever you're in that blood state, you deal like 75% more damage. It's absolutely broken, and it's a really good thing we got it. So once again, we find ourselves in a combat Resnium, and whoa. It looks like Grandma let go of her two little precious puppies, Cupcake and Daisy. Looks like we gotta hit them with a double wombo shlombo to end their lives. We then grab the Bug Shield Resnium, which is actually completely useless, and I didn't realize it at the time because it only activates once per combat encounter. I didn't really read that part, to be honest. We then encounter another combat Resnium in which I was spamming A to try to make the loading screen go faster, and I might have accidentally used another Bang Boo assist. It didn't really matter though, because I only hit them with like one attack. I was thinking about restarting, but I was like, fuck it man, I'm already here, I'm not waiting all that shit. So I continued on. Once I finally clear out those small fry, it's time for this fucking mech. Now, I don't know what dickhead from Tops decided to send this boss fight after me, but he knew damn well what he was doing and who he was versing. Because this guy would not stop spamming his fucking shield state. Every time, when they have a shield state, there's two ways to get him out of shield state. The first one is to proc an anomaly. I think it's any anomaly. I don't know if it's just shock or any anomaly. I think it's any anomaly, but we can't proc any anomaly anyways. Me or the Bang Boo can't do it. The second way is to proc a stun. I barely deal any days as is, so that was basically impossible as well. But honestly, I think it was a good thing that they decided to send this guy after me, because it was great foreshadowing for what was to come into the future. After I spent all that time killing him, I'm finally about to finish him off, so I wait for him, then he does it again. Oh my fucking god, bro. So I finally get him low, and I hit him with the finishing Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding? Then by some absolute miracle, I'm able to get a stun window off. I don't know how the hell that happened, but stun windows are actually not that great for me because I can't really do any damage during them. So I was just kind of hoping and praying he would die, but he ended up just doing an attack and killing himself, so that's pretty cool. I then end up picking up the General File Resnium, which makes perfect dodges easier to trigger. It's just a more quality of life thing. I went to the rest and recuperation and got the HP, mainly because I didn't know how much damage whatever boss I was gonna face deals, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't soft locked. Now it's time for a real boss, the Marionette. Not the twin Marionettes, just one Marionette. And it's time for all of that practice that I've been doing to finally come to show. As you can see, my damage is not great. I think I was doing like 1%, maybe 2% of its HP with every big hit I did. Calculating that 7.5 seconds was pretty tough, and it kind of got to a point where I didn't even try to calculate it anymore. But what I did realize is this boss is actually starting to do some damage. So I can't just mindlessly get hit anymore. I have to actually think about what attacks do I think should hit me and what attacks shouldn't, because some attacks do more damage than others. So one of the big attacks that they do is the one where they both leap into the air and go onto the ground. That's like one of their biggest damaging moves, I think. And that attack specifically does a lot, so I tend to ignore it. I would just dodge through it instead of trying to purposely get hit by that one. I also needed to avoid any attacks that were multi-hit. I found that the best time to get hit was at the end of one of their combos, or they have this attack where she goes into an invulnerable state and hits you with like a chain of like 5 different attacks. That one is also really good to get hit by, but only by one of them because it's only one attack. So it's pretty free to get hit by something. Like, usually I was getting hit by at least one thing anyways, and if I wasn't, I could always just get hit by that final attack. The perfect dodging, the management of getting hit every 7.5 seconds, all of that, I mean, it's at least manageable. What wasn't manageable was the amount of time I spent here. I spent an unfathomably long, okay, it wasn't that unfathomable, but I spent a long time here, and it just got to a point where I was just getting really bored. Like, I didn't want to do this anymore. But I mean, seeing the same attacks over and over again, dodging them over and over again, I started getting a little lazy, started getting hit a little bit more than I was, but eventually I did lock in. So I used the rest of my refreshes to get this adversity gear, which levels it up. This, whenever I get healed by anything, it deals like a bunch of damage to the person, and I end up with a 27 minute and 26 sec 25 I can't see it from here. It's 27-minute clear time, okay? That's a lot of time. I ended up pausing there because there was no way I was going to continue after that. If you didn't know, there was actually a pause feature in the Hollow Exploration. I don't know if anybody's ever used that in their lives, but I did. And that was fucking torture. So I left it for the next day. Then the next day came around and, well, I'll just let myself from the current time explain what happened. Bro, there's no fucking way I forgot to hit record. There's no fucking way. I'm halfway through this boss fight. More than halfway. I'm like 75% fucking done with it. And my stupid ass really forgot to fucking hit record. Let me show everything real quick. So I got this fucking trash ass map, so I decided to take the right route because I don't want... Flawless makes no sense for me to take because I take hits. Time trials makes no sense because I'm going to take too long. So the only route that made sense was the right path. It gave me basically nothing. The only thing I really got out of it was water gun, which just increased my crit damage by like 30%. And secret file. Whenever I press dodge, I immediately break free, which is pretty good for multi-hit attacks. And then for I got this the ultimate thing. It really doesn't fucking matter, to be honest with you. Both are pretty useless. Here are my stats right now. They haven't really changed since we started. No need to worry though, friends. I have enlisted help from a special friend to get back there super easily. Yo, yay!
What's up, twin?
I need your help to beat Bringer's ass.
Don't worry, twin, I got you.
Holy shit, yay! A level 1 ethereal!
Oh hell not, twin, I got us.
So, going into this boss fight,
Hey twin, I can't see or hear anything.
Yo, shut the fuck up. Anyways, I didn't realize this until now, but Bringer is actually kind of a difficult boss fight. I didn't realize it at the time, but this guy has a lot of fast hits that you just don't expect to see coming at all. So I had a lot of close calls during this Bringer fight. So I want to talk about some of Bringer's moves really quick. Now Bringer has a pretty dangerous move set. The first one I want to talk about is his thrusting attack, where he grabs his sword and kind of just thrusts it at you. That one is probably the most dangerous on his entire kit. Even if you initially dodge it, like you dodge one, you can still get hit by its lingering hitbox, which will hit you multiple times. And yeah, not only does it hit once, but it hits like 10 times for no reason, and it does a ton of damage. So I tended to ignore that one and just try and dodge that whenever I saw it. The second attack is his little double hand swipe. That was one of his most punishable attacks. If you just got hit by the first attack and then dodge the second one, you usually were able to just get a hit in. Now there's two more moves I'm going to talk about. One is his slap into his sword. This is pretty unreactable if you don't see it coming. But I versed him so much that it got to a point where I was like, okay, this is pretty obvious when this is coming. But when I first started, he was getting so many hits off this. What he does is he does a little backhand slap and instantly goes into a sword. Now, what's kind of good about this move is that sometimes he'll chain it into a double axe hit. He'll slap you with the sword, then he'll switch to his axe and then slam it down. So if you get hit by that sword, you'll still be able to punish him by hitting him while he has that axe down, because he gets stun locked for so long. Eventually I destroy his first phase, but I don't really have the footage for that. So now I'm going to show you the second phase. This second phase, remember what I was talking about? Like the foreshadowing that I did earlier with the robot? This is the foreshadowing. This guy was spamming sacrificial knife like his life depended on it. I think I would maybe get around 2 to 3 hits before he would do another sacrificial knife. Luckily, sacrificial knife isn't that hard to dodge. I just have to get hit by like one attack, either the sword attack or the lightning bolt, and then I get like basically a free hit on him. I won't get the attack bonus, but you do probably notice me going into Ether Veil. That's because I realized that I can't actually hit him during his sacrificial knife phase. So I'd use my Bang Boo assist and I'd automatically put myself in Ether Veil just for an extra 1,000 attack. It doesn't hurt, right? Now let's talk about those attacks again, shall we? The first one being the piss tentacles things. I don't know what those things are, the little tentacles that used to come out of him. That one's a bit annoying, but it's dodgeable if you remember it. He does like a double swipe into an extremely fast like overhead swing. As long as you see the overhead swing coming, it's not hard to dodge, but getting hit by one of the tentacles is usually a good thing because they don't do that much damage and it has end lag. Next up is the kind of falling stars ability. This one's a little bit awkward, but it's definitely not hard to dodge. If you just stay on like the outer rings of the map, you can usually dodge this attack pretty much safely. But I like to kind of stay on the edge for like a few seconds, and then once those stars start falling down, I like to go forward, get hit by one, dodge the rest, and then kind of just go in there and get a hit in. Just for, because he has a lot of end lag as well on that attack. Also, the double axe hit is back again, but this time it's a little different. It has one unique more property to it. Whenever he does the overhead slam, it now explodes, which sounds bad, but it's actually pretty good because it takes forever to explode, allowing me to usually just get a free hit in. And to be honest, that's pretty much it. He didn't get a whole lot, but at the same time, the reason this boss fight took as long as it did was because of that sacrificial knife. As you can see in the background, I got maybe 3-4 hits in before he just was like, yeah, I'm just gonna straight up do another sacrificial knife. That was the entire boss fight. Me getting like 3-4 hits in, and then he just does another sacrificial knife. And then he does a sun. Like, oh my, I was getting so mad. But, you know, it is what it is. And here's the victory celebration. Right here. That has to be it. That literally has to. This has to be it right here. What the fuck? Where's my damage? I didn't even mean to get hit by that. There we go. Oh my god, that took so fucking long. 2 hours and 12 fucking minutes. 2 hours and 12 fucking minutes. DPS falling Xiao build has been completed. Oh my fucking god. Alright, Zhao. Now that I've completed the run with you falling, please, please, Almighty, let me get your engine. Let me get your engine. Give it to me. I've completed you. Alright. Fuck you, bro. And you give me 1 A rank too? That's just disrespectful. I won't even lie.